All right, boys and girls, we are back. It's time to have a little fun, but this is not a game. We're gonna have like a discussion type of game, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not a game. There's no competition.
It's like there's game elements
Yes.
to this discussion because it's born of the movies are competing.
Yeah, and it's just a new segment we get.
You guys, it's a game. All of life's a game. Come join us.
So check this out, y'all. The name of this game is What's Better Than That? So what we do is we take movies of similar genre that some people might like, some people might think is awful. It might be awful or it might be great. But then like it might remind you of something doper, that's actually better. Like, sure. I don't know, take for example, I like Batman, 1989. And someone might be like, well, it's good. I like it, or it's bad, but I'll tell you what's better than that. Batman the Dark Knight with Kristen Bell, way better, so it's kind of like that, I tell you what should be a pretty good one with that would say, I like the dark, which is better, the Dark Knight or the new Batman movie, because I'm conflicted with that one, so that's the discussion, guys. So that's what we're going to do.
That's the discussion, everybody.
Yes. Welcome. That's how we're going to handle this thing. So, a movie that I didn't see in succession, like when it came out, was The Bone Collector, 1999. It was Denzel Washington. I think a very young Angelina Jolie was in this movie, and it was a crime thriller. He was in a wheelchair and stuff like that, and and she was doing her thing, and you couldn't tell she was young. He was like, "Is she hot?" Anyway, had nothing to do with.
Oh, that's the guys, creepy.
But, I mean, when I say young, she was an adult. She was definitely.
I know.
She played a cop, right?
Just a creepy sentence.
Yeah, because I say I'm very young, right? She's very old now. I mean, but in the same genre, you got the movie Seven, man, 1995.
Yeah, that's
with
movie.
What's his name, Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt.
Morgan Freeman.
And just the movies are pretty similar. It's this intense crime drama, but far superior is Seven to The Bone Collector. I mean, everybody knows Seven. A lot of people don't even know what The Bone Collector is. So
yeah.
But very similar, very creepy. People doing horrible shit to bodies and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't want to see it?
Yeah. I haven't seen Seven in years, and always wondered.
I can't rewatch Seven because a lot of it disturbs me in a weird way. That like it is a disturbing movie, and I watch a lot of other things that are like I would say maybe are way more disturbing than that. But there's some stuff in it that's kind of like personally disturbing that's hard to watch.
Yeah. And The Bone Collector had some disturbing stuff happen in it, but you didn't see it. It was always them showing up for the aftermath of the crime scene. Right. He's like, study this crime scene. So it was a lot different. So what's your first one your first volley?
Okay, so I'm gonna talk about the movie Signs.
I remember Signs.
A lot of people saw it. I mean, M. Night Shyamalan was kind of in his heyday there, you know what I mean? Like where people didn't realize that it was kind of a
Joaquin Phoenix stole the show for me for that movie. Well,
I mean, like, there's some fine acting in it, sure. Like, I guess, like, Joaquin Phoenix is a strange person.
He is.
So, like,
but that was pre-prick Mel Gibson. Nobody knew he was a prick at that time, too. So
that's true. And I remember I watched this movie at my friend Caleb's house in his basement at a slumber party. A slumber party. So we watched it and it was so fucking bad that like I just remember even back then when I had like no like not really even very good taste.
I kind of like Signs, but go ahead.
Oh. Okay, but it's really weird because the movie that I'm gonna say is better is a movie that I didn't even really like that much, but I would say it's a better version of what's happening here, and that's No One Will Save You, which we watched in October.
No One Will Save You was dope. That was dope.
I find that a lot of people are agreeing with you. I liked elements of it. It just, maybe it wasn't for me.
Well, No One Will Save You was dope. If you haven't seen that, guys, watch that damn. I didn't even want to watch it, Tiff. But you're right. Got the
and I wanted to watch it.
Right, I watched it begrudgingly, and I was like, I don't like this.
Even though neither one like Signs, I really detest. No One Will Save You. I don't like as much as I wanted to, but I think it's definitely a better movie.
I was
it's a similar vibe to Signs.
They had me when the damn alien was running around the bedroom. I was like, what? Why? It's because you didn't think because they always show aliens who look like that, like they're not gonna harm
Yeah.
you. They're just curious, and they might not even know you're there. It's a different
Yeah,
planet.
you're just insignificant. They're just
Goddamn
looking
things was
around. Nope.
hunter's tiff. But
Hostile.
oh my god, they was
Immediately hostile. No
Woo!
curiosity. We're here
Right.
to lay eggs and you bitches.
right, man. I would have got
Eat my
that.
egg.
I'd
Eat my
have
egg.
like E.T.
Now you're just a sack of eggs.
Right.
Well,
Yeah,
here, like, I think you know how we off mic. You
yeah,
said that you had been thinking about watching Indiana Jones again because the first time you watched it, you
yeah,
didn't care for it, and now you don't know. Maybe you would change your mind.
Yeah.
At least the feeling of curiosity has reemerged inside of yourself
for sure,
about it.
for sure.
I too feel like maybe not right now, but after a while, I would try to give No One Will Save You another chance.
I dug it.
Just
So-
because I do think it did a lot of interesting things.
Oh yeah, it shot very well. Like interesting, like it. Hulu. So
Hulu. You're
I'm gonna-
sold. Like, no sponsorship for Hulu.
right, goddamn right. Disaster movie. That's where I went next.
Okay.
So if you ever seen 2012 came out. It had Cheetah Ejiofor in it. They was building the Noah's Arks. Now here's funny. This is funny.
Mhm.
This movie was built after the movie that I think is far superior. So which is it's like they try to top it, but they couldn't.
Sure. And you didn't do it.
You didn't do it. That movie. My daughter watches that movie all the time. She likes the disaster movies. But that movie just sucked to me, man. It was like they're getting all the art, they're putting people on these rafts, and then when they got on the rafts, you're like, "Who cares?" I didn't give a shit about these people. But The Day After Tomorrow from 2004, honestly, far superior film. It's the first. We're talking about these two films. They're similar.
I understand what you're saying.
Far
I'm hearing you. and
Far
yes,
superior movie, man. I mean,
it's still funny.
it's actually an enjoyable movie to watch, man. If that shit comes on like Saturday or something, like back in cable and shit, and
Yeah.
I would
You're
watch
like,
that
okay,
movie. Yeah,
I'll
I'd
sit through it.
sit up there and watch them freeze to death and be cold and all this
That's
stuff.
the one where they burn the
books to
Bible
stay
or
alive,
whatever, or Shakespeare.
Yeah, they would burn it.
Something like that.
The one guy was like, "Knock."
Right.
this
They
one."
were
Right.
saving one of them.
Yeah.
It was a classic.
No,
But
but
I'm like,
I think that movie's far superior than 2012. I think it's
I would say that movie, while I do not like it,
like, what young Jake
It's-
Gyllenhaal in that
oh.
movie, right? Yeah.
Jake, it is it's at least entertaining while you're watching it. Even if the
Yes.
whole time you're thinking this is stupid.
I thought that was all right. I was cold watching that movie, but But compared to 2012, and 2012 came out in
Masterpiece.
2009. So it should have been better, right? It should have been better.
It was their idea first.
Yeah, I guess. So what you got next?
So my next movie, I went drama route.
Okay.
So Little Miss Sunshine, very popular movie.
Never seen that movie. That's the little girl with the little bee outfit,
Yeah, you might
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
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 It's cute and funny. So it is not a bad movie. I actually enjoy this movie. I'm not saying
Oh, this is
that-
the inferior movie you're talking
Correct.
about. Oh, got you.
Yep. And what I'd recommend, because Little Miss Sunshine's about, overcoming the difficulties that we face. Some of it's mental illness, some of it's,
Yeah,
just like personality or confidence.
got you.
The movie I recommend is a movie called The Road Within. And it stars Dev Patel, who is the guy from Slumdog Millionaire, and it also has the guy who plays Klaus in The Umbrella Academy.
Yeah,
And-
I don't know either one of these movies. I'm so sorry I can't join in on this conversation. I'm like,
Well, in the movie The Road Within, it's about these three people who escape. They're young people and they break out of the ward that they're in for a
Yeah.
psychiatric evaluation.
yeah,
And and they take a road trip and they kind of learn about themselves and
Gotcha.
they're not better or anything at the end, but they've
Yeah.
learned, some stuff. And I put it, I think it's a better movie because I thought I thought Steve Carell did a great job and a lot of other people in that movie. Little Miss
Oh,
Sunshine, did a great
whoa!
job.
I know what you're talking about now. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I've seen the
yeah.
trailer and shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Did
Yeah.
a good job, but this other movie seemed to centrally focus on mental illness and got it really right. I have OCD. There was a movie. This is the only movie that I thought had an accurate portrayal
Oh wow.
of OCD
Okay.
that I've seen.
Okay, interesting.
Mhm.
Huh? I've never seen either one of them, but I don't watch
I
movies
mean,
like
so it's not like your genre necessarily, I would say.
that. Yeah, no explosions, but it just
They should just add an explosion at the end of every movie to like
get me in there.
entice people to see it.
Like, okay, I saw the explosion. Show it in the trailer.
I saw that trailer. I'm suing your ass because
Right.
there's no explosion.
Fake explosions on. And the guy in a world where explosions is fake. Anyway, so my next one is psychological horror.
Oh.
Okay.
Mhm.
So, man, a far inferior movie. And I think I don't know. I know people saw this
Are you
movie.
afraid?
I know people saw this movie because
Okay.
people talk about it, but I remember it's called The Happening. It's an M. Night Shyamalan movie.
I remember. Oh, he's coming in hot on this list.
Yeah,
Yes, I know what movie you're talking about. Never seen it, but I know.
that's
Yeah.
2008, and it was a trip that Mother Earth was attacking people through, like, influencing them, and they were just like, killing themselves and running themselves over with lawnmowers and all kind of shit. And then you had Marky Mark walking around just looking at everything in bewilderment. That was his role. He was just like,
Yeah, he kind of looks confused at all times. I know.
the whole movie, he just looking confused. Which reminds me of Ken Watanabe and Godzilla. All he did was have his mouth hang over and shake.
Yeah.
But then he got the best line in the movie, let them fight, so that was worth it.
Ken Watanabe does deliver amazing lines. Like The Last Samurai. I know.
Oh, yeah.
I know that there's probably.
Yeah. Oh, I love that movie. Hell,
yeah,
I love
there's
it.
a scene at the end where he's talking about the most beautiful cherry blossom.
Yeah. With
And
the
he
cherry
says
blossom over
they're
his shoulder.
wrong. I was there. He was looking for the perfect cherry blossom, and then he was like, when he was dying, he says, "I was wrong. They're all perfect."
Yeah. Okay.
I saw a cry thinking about it.
Really. So my superior movie, far superior. That reminds me of like all the bewilderment and the interesting message. Was I would say 2017's Get Out.
Oh, okay.
A lot of weird shit happening. Nobody knew it was happening.
Sure.
The audience didn't know what was happening, and just a far superior film.
Oh, I mean, by leaps and bounds.
Leaps and bounds. No, I'm just saying psychological
There's
horror.
that same kind of like compressing of our view and increasingly tension building, right?
Exactly. That's exactly. This one tried to do it, couldn't do it at all. This one did it.
Couldn't get it up.
And didn't even add. Well, it did have a sci-fi horror because it was like doing
But like, and I know what's really weird about Get Out is that like the premise is a little ridiculous. Like, not as far as like the racism stuff, but like taking people's brains and putting them in other people's bodies isn't going to work.
Yes.
Right. We get that. But the way that the movie is presented to you, it seems perfectly logical.
Yeah.
It's great.
For sure. Like, it was right. It wasn't hard to swallow once it happened. You was like,
yeah, you're like, oh, okay, this makes sense. These people are fucking weird.
Oh man, that scene with that lady to go, no.
Oh, it's
still gets me. I'm still like, what the hell?
So I still remember when he grabs that croquet ball and smacks the shit out of that guy.
Yeah.
Is maybe some of the best feeling I've ever had in a movie, because that guy. I mean, they were all pieces of shit, obviously, but that son, I was like, gotta get him.
What Lakeith Stanfield was in that movie? You know what I'm saying? It's like,
he really does do it, and you're like, oh, Lakeith, you're here.
You're right.
I know I'm gonna be okay.
Yeah. Something's interesting.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
So what is your next one? Is this the third one? This is your third one?
This is the third one. Yep.
Okay.
Batman v Superman.
Far inferior movie to almost any superhero.
Yeah, I know some of these movies I wrote down. I was like, well, I'd be saying that anything's better, but
if you're inferior,
it tried to be dark. It didn't do a good enough job that way, and then because it did that, it tainted the way it could have been on both sides. Like, it could have been, if you're going to do that, you're going to have to like go way darker, or you're just going to have to let it be normal.
I'm gonna say this,
like.
And the hell with everybody. That movie had two great scenes. Two great, iconic, knock the shit out of you scenes. One was Ben Affleck driving toward the danger at the beginning of the movie, from the Superman. That it was just intense. It was dope. You was with him. You like, Bruce. That was great. But better than that is that scene in the warehouse where Batman was beating up all the criminals. He got shot in the head and he didn't flinch, and he was just all over the place. It was so Batman-y.
So Batman-y.
That was good. Those two scenes were good.
Had the flavor of Batman.
Oh, it was so good. Those two scenes were good. The rest of the movies was shit, and we all know it, right? So
the movie I'm going to recommend instead, or say is better.
What? I can't wait to hear this. Go ahead.
I was going to say Chronicle, because if you're going to want to watch a movie where people who are, I know you didn't like it or whatever.
I never saw it.
But if you want to watch a movie where people have powers and they do dark things,
yeah,
that's what I'd recommend.
I couldn't. The shaky cam. I saw.
Yeah, it can make you feel a little ill.
What's the movie with Cloverfield? I saw the first Cloverfield and I barely made it out of it. You know what I'm saying?
I love Cloverfield as well.
And then this movie came on and it had all the warnings, and I was like, oh, I don't know, I want to see that. And so I never saw it, so I can't even speak about it. I was like, no more shaky cam, and that's why I barely got out of Hardcore Henry, because
oh my god, you guys, so many movies gonna make you throw up.
Shaky cams,
shaky cam. But yeah, I think that if you're looking for a dark superhero movie,
okay,
go there.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I talk about it all the time. So what?
Yeah, you do. Okay, so epic war films, Tiff. This is really no comparison, but back in the 90s, early 2000s, like the World War II films lost their mind, right? It was like coming out of the woodwork. Well, actually, it was, yeah, for sure. So in 2001, Pearl Harbor came out with Ben Affleck and Josh Hartnett, and Jerry Bruckheimer just made. How could World War II be uninteresting?
It is a movie about war for people who kiss their pillows.
It's a movie about not war and about some silly ass love triangle with three people you just don't give a shit about. I didn't care.
I've been practicing kissing in my bedroom, thinking about Josh Hartnett.
Oh well, there we go. So
I've never seen the movie.
A far superior film was that came out years before in 1998, and that was Saving Private Ryan. And that was, of course. But so, how do you make Pearl Harbor after Ryan and make that shit
and not be embarrassed?
Right.
A little embarrassing.
Right. You've seen what good is. At least do something with. You got you don't have to do the same movie, but you got to come with that grit and that shit, because that's what people loved about.
That's what war is. Yeah, but I mean. Saving Private Ryan, I've watched it recently. I watched it
It holds up. It's still disturbing.
Oh, well, yeah, it holds up, but also you forget after you watch it.
Some of the shit that happens.
Watched it for a while.
You're like, oh shit, I forgot all about this.
You forget how difficult it is to watch. The first, I think it's like 20 minutes of that movie are fucking brutal.
Yeah.
And then it just keeps going. Like the Giovanni Ribisi scene.
Yeah, you always bring that one up. I need more morphine. I need more morphine. Morphine.
Oh, because it's so terrible and so
it's
so intimate. It's just awful.
Yeah. So my point.
I'm having a panic attack.
Look. You got a panic attack for a movie that's damn near 20 years old, right? And Pearl Harbor came on after that and didn't even scratch the surface of nobody giving a shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, what are you doing? So there you go.
Put that turd out here.
They did it. So you're number 4, Jeff.
Okay, so my number 4 is X-Men Apocalypse. Didn't care for it.
Far inferior film.
No good
to everyone. Poor. And Oscar Isaac was in that movie.
So my movie that's better than that, which isn't really fair.
Yes.
Is to say Avengers Endgame. And I said it because the premise is we have a big bad.
It was no. That's a great comparison, because it was the biggest, baddest hero in each of those heroes that they fought. So yeah, you're right. It's his comparison.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, and then it's just the difference between them is just so vast that like it's hard to even say.
All I'm thinking about is all those shots, those album cover shots from the 80s that the bad guys, the Four Horsemen, just kept standing on mountains looking like they was taking album cover pictures.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Just awful.
Yeah, it was. Awful. And then even to make Magneto a Four Horseman was like, what? Why would y'all do that?
I mean, the thing about it is that you have so much material. X-Men, I would say, is just a plethora of wonderful characters that you can use to tell a lot of stories very easily. Their personalities come through really well. It's just one of those good superhero teams. And you took that, your easy blueprint, and you wiped your ass with it.
Well, one thing they did do, in my opinion, because I really like the Phoenix Saga, I think they got their shit together and they did people hate the movie. I think that people were going to hate all X-Men movies at that time when it came out because I thought it was great. The Phoenix Saga, they got their shit together. They limited all the bad guys. Magneto was back to being an asshole again, which I like. I like asshole Magneto, and they had them aliens.
Yeah, I mean, asshole Magneto is the Magneto that we love, and then when we get a little taste of the sweetness, then we love him even more. Not like always nice, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That movie sucked. The best scene in that movie. This could be another segment. The best scene in that movie.
The best scene in that movie.
That terrible movie is when Magneto was like killed all those people who killed his family. He came walking up and he was being a good guy, working in the factory, and he come walking up and his wife and his daughter was dead and stuff, and he just murdered everybody with any metal they had in the woods. Those Russian. He was just like, that's the Magneto I know and love. But the movie just sucked. It was terrible. Anyway, man, so my last one here, where am I at? And this one is kind of a weak one. It's pretty weak. So I had actually did this different. I had these 4 science fiction films, and I was like, I can't put these 2 together because, but so you have Jupiter Ascending, 2015. And this, people hate this movie, I saw it once and I have no feelings about it. I mean, I don't have hate for it, but it was uninteresting, and you had, Freddie Redmond walking around and that long dress. He just wasn't interesting. How was Freddie Redmond not interesting?
It's a bad movie. It's really bad. I saw this in the theater and I had to leave because I was laughing too hard.
Okay, so
I came back in, but I had to leave for a little while because I was disturbing the other patrons. So
here's the far superior film that's still controversial because a lot of people
Spaceballs.
It was Spaceballs. A lot of people wasn't, So I'm gonna just go right to it. Blade Runner, 1982. Now let me explain. When Blade Runner came out, the original Blade Runner, it was not well liked. It really wasn't. Like that became a fan thing. And it built afterwards, and people started really liking Blade Runner after, it kind of was like, oh, that was some shit when it came out. People were digging it. So, but if you watch the film now, I really like it, but I see the problems because there's a lot of Star Trek or motion picture scenes where they just want to show you the scenes as the cars float around. And so, but I still feel like it's a far superior film than that coming damn near 20 years later, more than 20 years later, so, but Blade Runner's trip. It's one of those movies, either you love it or you hate it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I still think it's a superior film than that. Solid. Yeah.
Oh, way superior. Okay.
So you're
my last one.
You're number 5.
So Twilight, boo hiss boo.
Okay.
Not a fan.
A lot of people were.
It's just, I know. And so this movie recommendation I'm gonna give, or it's better than, is probably not for people who would watch Twilight, but I think it's a better movie in that. So Twilight,
Blade.
Sparkly vampires kissing. I thought Blade too. The movie I put was kind of Blade-ish.
Yeah.
But I chose Ginger Snaps, which is a high school movie about sisters, and one of them becomes a werewolf.
Really? I don't know.
And it's a horror movie, so it's probably a bit more gruesome than someone who would want to watch Twilight would want, but it's got like high school elements, sisterly kind of conflict. Not that happens in Twilight, but there's like,
Ginger
like maybe
Snaps.
Somebody who watched Twilight might get into movies like that and grow up and watch Ginger Snaps.
2000. Starring Emily Perkins, Catherine Isabella, and Chris Larchmere, whatever. I don't know. I've never seen this before.
I don't think you'd like it.
Okay, there's somebody hanging.
What?
There's somebody hanging in a room. Somebody got a knife.
No, it's just, I just don't think it's like the kind of movie.
No, I'm watching the trailer right now.
Oh, okay.
It's Yeah, they're fighting in a bunch of leaves and shit. Oh shit. Okay, ginger snaps. So I would love to know how people like this.
Yeah.
I think this was pretty good.
This
We
was fun.
just got to polish it up just a little bit, but
Yeah, it's a little unrefined, but
Yeah.
still beautiful.
yeah, I like it. I like it. So we're gonna take our break, our final break, and we're gonna come back because we got to talk some Aquaman, y'all. And
All right.
give us one minute.
Fish boy, fish man.
Fish guy.